Hello, once again, it's my pleasure to welcome you to another very exciting episode of Talk, Share and Inspire. And today's conversation is something I am very sure you want to listen to. Today we want to talk about money. And just not money. Let me first start by asking you, what is your relationship with money? Are you like me? Once upon a time, I used to go with that verse that says, money is the root cause of all evil. So I used to see money as not something to be desired. Money was, it looked like a means of evil. Then the older I grew, I learned that money is actually the means to everything. We would not be here if it were not for money. And so today we want to talk about the basics of money, that is budgeting and saving. And I am joined with people who have hacked budgeting and saving, allow me to say that, and they are going to tell us all about it. If you've been struggling with budgeting, are you those people who you get, let's say you get $1,000 or let me even say $500 and you're wondering, where did I spend this money? Where did the 200 go to? Today we will learn how to account for our money. So without further ado, once again, help me to welcome my very good friends to the show. Yeah, how do you greet people in French? You say?
Bonjour.
Bonjour, and then we respond?
Bonjour. Yeah, like just hi.
Oh, hi. So bonjour.
Bonjour. Ça va?
Comment ça va? Bien, merci.
You're doing well.
Yes. How are you guys?
Good, fantastic.
You look immaculate.
Excited to be back.
You look like you have money.
Amen.
Amen. So introduce yourself and tell us what you're here to do.
Okay. My name is Marion Kimunto and I'm a tax consultant. I also enjoy learning about money and I am in the journey of ensuring that money works for me.
Yes. How about you?
My name is Matthew Barake. I'm a management consultant, currently doing projects and programs. I am a big, I like the money topic. It's one of my favorites. And I like talking it, especially to our generation and the youth. Yes.
So guys, let's start from the basics. How has your relationship with money been? Like, have you always loved talking about money?
No.
Yeah, take it away.
Okay, let me just take it out. So I was among the few privileged to get an opportunity to work immediately after university. Yeah. But then I didn't know like avenues. I didn't know about saving. I remember when I joined where I worked, they called someone to teach us about money, but it was just one session.
Exactly about money.
Yes, they were telling us about saving. That's when they opened for you an account in a bank, So I didn't have like deeper connection and like what saving is, yeah. So the only thing I knew I wanted to save towards was my master's. And then every time I paid fee, I didn't know where the rest of the money went. So that's where like...
Also, you've also had similar problems to ours.
Yes, yeah. So that's where I would say it all began. And maybe if I go back, in campus, people had businesses, but my work was to help people like drive their businesses, but I never thought of, with the money I have, I can save and do anything like that. No. Yeah.
Okay. So you also have had problems with budgeting, saving, tracking your expenses, and things like that.
Yeah.
How about you, Matthew?
I think for me, it's a little bit different. Right from campus, I tried 3 businesses in campus.
Oh.
At least I knew this. Okay, number one, I tried photography. I did printing, and I even owned a pool table.
Wow.
Yeah, for recreational purposes.
Okay.
Yeah, and I would make some money, yes, but I didn't know how to use that money and how to make that money work for me. And over time, I'm now learning about that, and I'm looking back. I'm like, there are so many things I could have done differently if I had the knowledge that I have right now.
Okay.
Yes,
and that one actually pivots us to the next point.
Yes.
What was your turning point to actually start caring about money? Where does your money go to,
Okay. I think it's, let me say, maybe around 4 years ago. Yeah. So maybe right after our first year of marriage. Yeah. So we sat down and we are like, what do we want to be known for? One, and what do we like when either of us is not there? Will we suffer through? Like you get someone has lost a spouse and they are not able to cater for the basic needs of their children before they like live through the grief and stability. I think that's where like money and discussing about money became very, very important for us.
Like looking at the foreseeable future.
Yes, foreseeable future.
Seeing that things can change.
Yes, and things changing is not me losing a spouse. Things changing is incapacitation. I'm not able. When you're in your 20s and you're working, you think you'll always be able to work. But I have seen my friends who have become ill suddenly, and they're my age mates. So what happens then? And then do I want to work till I am 60 and beg to work till I'm 65? So I think that's
because
where,
you did not save when you had the opportunity to save.
Okay.
How about you, Matthew?
I also think it came at the same time. Right before then, I was struggling with money coming in. I can't see how I use the money, but somehow there was some sort of income. But then when we got married, that's when we saw the light. We were like, we have money coming in, we can't account for it, and we also were purposeful about planning for our future. So that's where the whole conversation about money started.
Okay.
It was like our turning point. We had it at the same time.
At marriage. All right. But then
which is not the best place.
All right. Okay. Thank you for saying that. I'd want us to go back. We will go back to that point, right?
Yes.
Because we are speaking to young people, and we are speaking to someone who probably has already realized this is not the best way to go about my money. There is no way I have money and I cannot account for it, right? So we'll go back to strategies or things that you learned that you'd give, tips you'd give someone. But then before we go to that, now let's actually talk about budgeting and saving. So maybe Matthew or Marion, just describe what is budgeting. What does budgeting look like?
Well,
guys, it's good to be in love.
I'm the accountant in the relationship, so let me just go ahead. So budgeting is where you know what your income is or your projected income, and you know what your expenses are. You put them down and then like plan for them beforehand.
Okay, so I budget for my money before I earn it.
Yes.
I do not wait to earn
and
to
then
budget
it.
Okay.
So that's why I said either income you're certain that will come or projected income that
what
you
is
have.
projected income?
Projected income is maybe someone who is a freelancer. So they have sent out an invoice of 100 shillings. They expect at least by the end of the month, that is 30 days, they'll get that money back.
Okay.
So that is a projected income.
Right.
Yes.
So you plan, I check my income, and then I check my expenses.
Yes.
So I budget for it beforehand, before I earn the money.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Saving, how about saving?
Just one point to say on budgeting and expenses. For you to decide that you are going to use a certain amount of money for ABCD, you must have maybe for a period of time tracked and saw how your expenses look like. So that now when you are doing the budgeting, it becomes easier because you know on this one,
is how
I'm
much
going
I
to
spend
use,
on rent, this is how much I spend on transport.
Exactly. Saving, I would like to add another word, saving and investment. Saving is a means of putting money together for different purposes. It could be you are saving to invest, that's one. You are saving as an emergency fund, like having a cash flow, so that you are not at any point, you are not zero. You have some money somewhere in case anything happens. Or you are saving towards a project.
Okay.
So there are different kinds of savings, and we need to understand how the different savings work when it comes to budgeting and savings.
All right, I love that. So it's practical to save my money before I use it.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
Because personally, I have tried saving after spending the money, and wow.
Zero.
Yeah, the same way we get our money, we tithe it,
Yeah.
then we save, then now I move to my
Actually, it's
expenses.
recommended after tithe and offerings,
Yes.
you've
The
put them
next is
aside, the next is saving.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. And then the other thing I wanted us to talk about, what are some of the changes, things that you have observed that changed in your life after you started budgeting and saving?
Many things, like many things. First of all, you get to understand what is a need and a want.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So there's a difference between needs and wants. Needs are things you can't do without. Yeah, I can't do without food. I can't do without shelter. I can't do without just basic clothing. Kuna clothing yenye ni want. Yeah, so, and wants are the nice to have things. Yeah. Maybe I have seen Erica has an iPhone 15 and I have a Samsung A something. I want to upgrade to iPhone. That is a want. It's not a need. Yeah.
My Samsung is still working.
Yeah, the
I can
Samsung is still
receive
working.
calls,
Yes,
I can see my
take-
emails, I can take a picture.
Yes, yeah. So those are the things, like that is one of the major things that has changed. I can confidently say that I have purchased a want and not a need. Yeah. Another thing, I do not have panic attacks. You know, like, oh my God, my mom has called me. She's in the hospital. She needs to be taken care of. There's something I've set aside for emergencies and miscellaneous. So I am not I'm not get
don't get yourself
palpitations
in
because I do not
emergencies,
know
yeah.
what's where. And I do not even think about paycheck.
Oh,
Yeah, because I have already planned. I know this money is going this way, this way. So it doesn't get to a point in the month where I'm like, wow, when is paycheck? I no longer think about paycheck.
wow, I love that. So you have distinguished your needs and your wants. And then the other thing, you do not always live in a life of constant worrying.
Yeah.
And then you're able to like easily take care of your emergencies and you do not have to live paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Wow, I love that. And it goes without saying, budgeting and saving is not easy. Did you guys have it easy? You just started budgeting and you're like, Mampuan, we have hacked it. We can do this.
No, I don't think it's the easiest thing to do.
Especially when you're a couple.
Yes.
Yes. Because sometimes you budget and then you overspend.
You go beyond your budget.
You go beyond your budget. So by the time the month is maybe date 15, 20, you start you realize that you do not have enough to take you through the month before the next paycheck or before the next income. Yeah. And because of that, you become purposeful in tracking your expenses. Because one of the biggest challenges is tracking your expenses. You don't know when to buy what and how much is it supposed to cost. Even if you had put it in the budget, that's the earlier stages of budgeting. So if you are not purposeful to do that, and that's why I talked about budgeting and the expenses and how to track and know what exactly goes to ABCD, you will not be in a good position. Yeah.
And I'm thinking of something that I did not budget for.
Yes.
Okay, this was not planned for, and then it comes. How do I treat such things? And I do not, let's say I don't have an emergency fund. Okay, I've not got it to the point where I can manage an emergency fund, but this one has come and I need to take care of it. How do I incorporate it?
First of all, you see to look at it. It's a need or a want.
Oh, okay, going back to the point of
But
needs and
basically, from what I hear you, it's a need. Those are some of the scenarios which we call for miscellaneous now. That's where miscellaneous comes in. In the budgeting, there's a miscellaneous budget where you have a certain amount of money you've put aside just in case you go beyond budget or there's a need that you need to take care of. Because at this point, you do not have an emergency fund. That's what takes care of it. But more often than not, when those situations arise, we go over budget because we use our money for groceries, for rent, for other things to sort out those issues. But what we are saying, when you mature in budgeting, it means you have all those areas figured out and you will not be in a situation whereby you will use money for rent.
What is maturing in budgeting?
Oh, okay. Maturing in budgeting is this. Is when you are able to use your when you're able to put a budget and stick to it. you've
Okay,
matured. Yeah, it's
okay.
as simple as that. So
Yeah.
without saying it in a lot of words.
So I will not cut my groceries money
Yes.
to buy a dress.
Yeah.
Yes.
What if I want to, I mean, I've realized I don't need so much of cabbage.
Okay, I think that's why I said it's easier budgeting when you're young and
Yeah.
you're alone. Yeah, because you see now, then it means you will not go into your like savings or miscellaneous money to get that dress. What it means is you won't eat cabbage or you won't go for a solo date somewhere to get the dress. So at the end of it all, you have not gone beyond your budget. What has just changed is the priority of the budget that you need, but you're within your budget. And those things happen. Those things happen. Like you take money from a certain kitty and take it to another without destabilizing your budget.
You know why I'm mentioning that? Personally, the part of budgeting that I struggle most with is the easiest thing for me to substitute is food. I'm like, you know what? I had planned for 3 meals in a week. I can eat 2 and use that money for something else.
That's why I said it's easy when you're like either alone or a very young family. But when you have, like, say, children who are depending on that food, you can't cut the food to buy a dress.
Oh yeah,
you see?
for sure.
Yeah,
yes.
so
guys, it does not mean that's what I do. Yes. And you have had challenges sticking to the budget. I'm sure it's still a learning process.
Yeah.
But how do you jump over those hurdles?
First is being true to yourself and being true to the purpose of what you want. What we want is to have financial freedom.
What is financial freedom?
Financial freedom is when, like, the money I have saved or invested can be able to meet my day-to-day needs. Like, I can freely just leave my 8 to 5 and say I am spending 3 months of holiday. I've just taken a sabbatical and I am able to leave the same standards and like cater for my needs. So for me, that is my definition of financial freedom. Other people, their definition is very different.
Okay.
So
you stay true to yourself.
You stay true to yourself, and that will always remind you when you want to have a want, it takes you back. For the first days of budgeting, you will have to feel the pinch because you're working on a new behavior that you have never had before. And then you'll have to learn and relearn on how you think about things. So it will be a painful process, but at the end of it all, it will become a sweet and easy process.
So imagine a young person who wants to now start budgeting. We have all admitted, you guys have admitted that these are things that you saw the importance of it when you got married, when you had more responsibilities. You've learned lessons along the way. What are some of the tips or strategies you'd recommend? Maybe we'd start with you, Matthew.
Okay, number one, I will look at what it is that I'm bringing in. What's my income? And then I track my expenses. I know we've repeated that, but it's very key. I will put up an Excel sheet. It's a simple tool. Put the income, expenses, and track them for even 3 months.
Okay.
And see the consistency of it. And then with that, I'll have a definite answer that actually this is what I need to survive in a month.
All right.
I need this amount because you will do an average and see that this is the amount that you need to do your day-to-day for a whole month. And with that now, then it guides your budgeting. Now come up with a budget. A good budget nowadays, what they say, it's 50, 20, 50, 30, 20.
What
50
is that?
for, 50 for the bills and everything, rent and all that.
That is 50% of my
Yes.
income.
And then 30% for what?
30% is okay. Now the whatever is, but I know
The
20
fun,
is saving.
the fun bit of it.
Bits, yes.
And then 20% is for the saving.
Oh,
Yes.
So 30% is entertainment.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And
Then
entertainment
50%
here,
goes to
this is
my
what it
bills.
looks like.
Yes.
Entertainment. I know Erica is having a birthday this month. I put that money aside. I'm having dinner with friends, or I'm hosting a friend for dinner. I put that money in there.
Okay.
Like a lot of things which most people do not budget for.
Yeah.
Actually, let me
I
tell
don't
you a
think I
fun
have done
fact.
that consciously.
If you see me go out and buy you lunch, that money
Is budgeted for. Like you,
and I'm happy to spend that
I
money.
thought it's out of the goodness of your heart.
It
is
is,
budgeted,
but
planned for.
No, it's planned for, and we don't do that most of the time. That's I call that a beginner sort of strategy, 50, 30, 20, and it's globally accepted. But once you grow now, it sort of changes. The savings go high, the needs and everything, the bills go down in terms of how much you are able to do that. But I can give you the opportunity to also
Yes.
contribute to that.
I think the first tip is to start where you are. Yeah, if you've been overspending, accept I have been overspending and I need to do something about it. And then in that money you have, as we have said, start with tithe and then saving. Once you have saved, now you can be able to play around with the other money. Yeah, and then over time, when you see the beauty of putting the money together, that's how your rate of saving goes high and high. Someone may say, I'm a student, I just have pocket money. Please start saving. I remember when I started my career, there's someone who talked about, she bought shares for Safaricom when she was in high school.
Yeah, Safaricom is a telecommunication company here in Kenya.
Yeah. So I'm like, how did you, like me, when I was in high school, the only thing I looked forward to is university, you know.
Or saving some small money to buy very...
Okay, yeah, like my pocket money and maybe ensure I buy that cloth that my parents didn't buy for me. That is the only thing I knew. Huh? So if you're a young person, just know, think of the future. What do you want in the future? And then you will put in place the steps you want now. So if you get 3,000 of pocket money, deny yourself 500. Look for a place where you can be able to save that money. And there are very easy places where you can be able to save that money. This is what I tell my younger brother, that if every week you save 500, at the end of the month, that is 2,000. At the end of the year, that is 24,000.
Yeah, 500 is about $4, right?
Yes, yeah. At the end of the year, that you've 4,000, you've gotten to 24,000. What have I said? Yes.
Yeah, you are
24,000. Yeah. You're in campus. You're doing nothing and you're just saving consistently over that. For over 4 years, that is around 776,000 thereabout. Yeah. So imagine that, like, from just a little 500, before you finish campus, you have rent for 2-3 months.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. That's very, very insightful.
Yeah.
And maybe the other thing we should talk about, look at somebody. We've said, I love what you said about budgeting. You say, give yourself time, track your expenses for a period of time, and then you're able to know, this is what I use for this one. So it means that you cannot just start. Give yourself time to, first of all, track your expenses before you can know, this is how much I budget. How about saving? What are some of the habits that you can recommend? What are some of the things you can recommend for saving to be a habit for someone?
Okay. Let me say something. When you are saving, let it be purpose-led. What are you saving towards?
Okay, yes.
And when you are saving, it's important to know where to put that money. Saving does not mean that you are going to put that money in the bank to stay there. You can save that money where it's bringing interest. There's one thing they call the power of compounding. 10 years ago, if I was saving that 500 every week, it should be triple the amount now of what was our 500. So when you are saving money market funds, saving circles, and let it have a purpose. Are you saving towards this project? Are you saving towards buying land?
Save with a purpose.
Save with a purpose.
So it gives you the motivation.
Yes, and most importantly, build an emergency fund. They say that 3 months, but as we recommend 1 year emergency fund, because there are several things that can happen. In capacity, you lose your job, or you just don't have a source of income for 1 year. So what can happen during that period, which is equivalent to 12 months of what you spend every month, 1 month times 12, comfortably, not denying yourself. Yes.
Like I'd still be able to live the same way.
Yes.
In a
if
whole
I was
year.
employed.
Yes, eat 3 meals and all that.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's very, very important. So one of the ways we've been saving is tracking is by using M-Pesa. writing a purpose for each and everything. Banking app, writing a purpose for each and everything. And for those ones which you pay cash and you cannot forget, we've opened a WhatsApp group where you say, I spent $10 or 500 shillings, and this was the purpose for it. So that when it comes to reconciliation, it becomes very easy.
Wow. I love how passionate you guys are about money, you know. Yes, and of course we are about to wind this up. 2 parting shots as we finish.
Okay, let me just go first. One thing is for you to be able to budget and save, you need to monthly call yourself for a meeting and do a monthly meeting of how you want your month to go with what we said, projected income and the expenses you're going to have, research and know avenues where you are able to save so that your money is in good hands and in hands that you're not stressed about, and it will become easier. Do it every day. Like saving and budgeting is like exercise. You can only be disciplined. That's when you'll see. When you're disciplined, that's when you'll be able to see the results at the end of it all. Yeah, it's my prayer that all of us are financially free. Yeah, and maybe one day when we have another discussion, we'll talk about things like black tax and how that is a big issue with regards to our saving and our budgeting. But all these things, try to put them in your budget, track them. Do it consistently, and you'll see your rate of saving going up.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much, Marion. Yes, Matthew. In 30 seconds.
Start now. Wherever you are, start now. That's the best advice I never got 15 or so years ago when I was in campus. If I had started that period, the money that I could have saved, because I could easily make $100 a month through my businesses, it would have been a lot of money right now. It would have matured even 2 times. Through that period, even through putting in insurance and all that. And let's stop the habit of loving to see our banks grow, money in the bank. It's a good thing to have that cash flow, but eventually it will not help you in terms of investment or growth when you want to have that financial freedom. So start now, invest now, and for sure you will reap the benefits.
Awesome, awesome. Dear viewer, I just want to pick it from that. Start now. It is never too late. If you've tried and failed, it's never too late. Start now, start wherever you are. The Bible says in the book of John that the Lord would want us to live life and life in abundance. Even money-wise. Proverbs 21:20 says, the wise store up choice food and olive oil, but fools gulps theirs down. Fools eat all their money, but the wise, they store up choice food and olive oil. I pray that the Lord will give you wisdom to show you how to track your expenses, to budget for a life in abundance. God bless you, and see you once again in another episode of Talk, Share and
Inspire.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.